So for everybody that doesn't know, Joseph Berry is a great award-winning designer and developer, and he was actually the winner of the Reloom Rumble Design League, which happened. When was it, Josh?
What's that? Sorry.
When was that?
That was March 6th, I believe, when he was coined the reigning champ.
Okay, so Josh was the co-host or the host for the whole show. Josh, if you want to tell us a little bit what the Reloom Rumble is and maybe share the link so people can watch
Yeah,
it.
I will do that. Yeah, so the Reloom Design League is essentially web. It's esports for web design, and it's hosted on the Reloom YouTube channel. It's live streamed, and I'm gonna bring it up in 2 seconds here. There we go. I'm gonna send it over to the chat, and essentially, it is like Iron Chef for designers. So it's one-on-one. Bring in the top designers in the world, give them half an hour. We give them the ingredients of all the different assets. And in this case, it's based off of the Cowboy bike company. And so we just extracted all the assets. We give them half an hour to battle it out. Start off with a clean slate, one single wireframe. And then the audience votes for the winner. So it's really fun. And yeah, Joseph, he nailed it every single match. So it'll be really fun to see him bring this to life.
Yeah, Joseph literally like wiped everyone out. So so I'm going to drop the Figma link in the chat for people that want to build alongside him. Today, Joseph will be building it on Webflow. It's a beautiful design, so we're super excited. I don't know if he's going to be able to build the whole thing. What do you think, Joseph?
It might be a tall order, but I think what we will do is let's try and keep it fun and not just watch me building. So I'm going to probably work in the way that I traditionally work, which would be build and animate as we go along. At least that way we get to see a little bit of versatility in what I'm doing rather than just seeing me build stuff. And yeah, I'm thinking we can keep it quite open. I'm happy to hear some suggestions from the crowd. There could be some ideas that could come to the table. Obviously, there's a lot of things that I already had in my head, even when I spoke through the design the first time. So what I wanted to ultimately do is try and bring that to life, like what I did with the Cartier design that I did. All of the ideas that I kind of spoke around in the actual Reloom Rumble, I brought them to life in that way. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do here.
Okay, Eric, what do you think we should focus on, like commentary from Joseph? I feel like I would love for him to show people the reason behind an animation. Like I know, for example, sometimes we want to see why is it faster and snappy, or why is it softer? Why are you choosing a scroll animation? Why are you choosing an on-click animation? So what do you think, Eric?
I think you just nailed it. And judging by the chat, that's what people are interested in, specifically why you choose native animation and Webflow over other tools. So, Joseph, just do you, man. We're here for you.
Yeah, super. I love that. Yeah, I mean, I will try and add as much information and detail to why I'm doing certain things as I typically do. But yeah, one other thing, like there's a lot of people in this room. There's a lot of knowledge in this room. So, you know, if you see me doing something where you have another solution or another way of doing it, or a different unit or a different measurement, or however you might do things that might be slightly different or might be a better route of doing it, you know, I'm open. I know I've been on these before, and Diego said a few things to me, and you know, we all need to remember that, you know, we don't know everything, and you can learn new things every day. So I'm happy to hear what people might have to say.
Cool. Well, let's go then. Share your screen whenever you want.
No messing around. Straight into it, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's go.
Get your drinks ready. I have my chocolate ready.
The entire screen.
Hopefully everybody can see the screen. I know last time we had a problem with people watching it.
Cool. Can everyone see my screen, yeah?
Looks good.
I'm going to move you to the side on my other screen. Let me just get myself set up. Okay. I did prepare a few things, so I've got some assets ready. I've dropped in a few little bits and pieces. I had a little bit of a play with one of the ideas just because I knew it was potentially going to be a little bit tricky, and I've kind of simplified it. We can get to that in a moment. Could be something that we could solve together potentially. So yeah, we're pretty bare bones here, but we're going to try and move as quickly as possible. So let's start with Figma, where we are and what we're going to tackle first. I think this is obviously an important step, and this is a big part of my process. And what I always do is thinking about where we are in Figma and what we're going to do with this. So we'll start with the hero section. Obviously, this is a pretty simple hero, I would say. This is not the most complicated thing that I've ever seen, but I think there's definitely some nice things that we can do to this. And I remember talking around a couple of key elements through this. So we have the bike element. This bike element, there's definitely some movement coming up from this hero space. So I see this being really soft and nice, like almost like it's elevating, like it's really softly coming up. Then we have this super text hero element. I'm going to wrap these in individual spans and I'm going to animate these up. They could come up through a div, which I think there will be a div hide, and they can come up like individually, so we can stagger these. There is obviously some other things that we could do. We could add 3D elements, so we could do like a rotating animation on there, but I'm trying to see what would actually work with this, and I feel like something simple, even though a 3D twist on the text could be quite interesting to see how you would create something like that. So that also could be thrown into the mix. And I think with everything that I do, as you see, as I build out, I'm constantly going through and looking at where I can refine, tweak, evolve. Is it too much? Do I need to strip it back? Do I need to add more? And that's the constant questions that you need to kind of keep asking yourself as you're building out. So that's why I build and animate at the same time, because for me, everything it's a feeling, it's a flow. You know, you've got to look at how the page flows and how you can create these little signature moments.
What I want to note here, one thing that usually Joseph does is what's the brand? Like the brand, obviously, it's a more higher end bike brand, so we know that it needs to feel very refined. And that comes hand in hand with the animations and obviously a type of animations that Joseph does before. So how, Joseph, do you decide that bringing the bike in, like, what is that message of that animation coming in, like levitating? Like, what is it? Why levitating and not why zooming in or zooming out or like sliding from one side? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think again this comes down to a number of reasons. One, this is down to the main issue really is down to the asset. Now the asset at the moment doesn't really allow us to be able to come in from the side. Yeah, we could bring it in, but I just think the angle is wrong. I think we'd need the more kind of side view. And then obviously we would need, I would say, the wheels moving. I don't know if you remember when I did Ujit with the bike. So I will show you this. So I actually animated the wheels on the bike. So this is actually an image made up of different parts, and I animated it. But I think we would need a side version for this, hence why, again, sometimes you're kind of forced into a animation decision based on the assets that you have. So if we did have a side view, yes, I definitely think it would come in. We could try it so that it comes in like this, but I just feel like it would be quite interesting actually coming, like rising into view. But again, when we go into building this, we can explore it and it'll be a quick little change that we can look at and we can go. And again, this is a lot of what I do is I will try one way, I will try another way, and then I will say, what is the best way? This is the best way, this is what works. And then you can make a better decision again at that point. So all of these are early assumptions of what we can do. And that's why I always say, you know, nothing is fixed until you get it in there and see what it's doing.
Now,
Cool.
Joseph, real quick,
Yeah.
before you go ahead, was there, because you had to build this in half an hour, just looking at this design here, is there anything that you would like to change, or you're quite happy with the overall layout in terms of, I don't know, if you wanna, like if you were to do it again for the design aspect, what would you change or what would you keep?
That is a really interesting question. And to be honest with you, I haven't really looked at it in that way, to be honest, yet. To whether I update it. The good test of time is always that stepping away from a design and then coming back to it. And coming back to it,
Yeah.
I still really like it. And I still think it is a really cool design. I do think there's definitely things that I could change. I would probably need to crassinate a little bit more and get more into the details to really surface them. But yeah, at this point, yeah, I think there's lots of really interesting sections in here that we can bring to life. So yeah, I'm pretty cool with it at the moment. Again, sometimes when I'm in build and I'm building things out, and I always try and make this quite clear to clients, is that you probably heard me say this before, but I always see design being like 90%. And the last 10% for me is inside of Webflow, where actually I might look at some of the design decisions that I made and be like, this doesn't really look that great in build. How can I like evolve or tweak this to make this better? So I always say to the client that there may be improvements and enhancements that I actually make in build, which is a really nice thing to do. Could also cause a little bit of problem from a client perspective. But as long as you're clear and you let that known up front, then as I said, it's an ongoing process where you can kind of continue to evolve. Sweet. Is that everything now? Should we rock and roll?
I think so. Let's go for it.
Let's go. Cool. Okay, let's start with this hero section. I have got this on a super big screen, but let's go. So I'm just going to drop in a first div. I'm going to call this hero parent. I use this parent, grandchild, child method. I don't know if anyone's seen this. We're going to do this 100 viewpoint height. I have been using these new measurements, which are really good. Where you've got the DVW and the DVH. These are really, really good for mobile. And there is also SVH, which is actually, I find, the best one. And it's not obviously located in here, but if you type it, it will come up, SVH and SVW. I'm not sure what the terminologies are for these. So if anyone has a better explaining, I'd love to hear like what they actually do and mean.
I'm about to look up what SVH means, but I know the DVH is dynamic and it takes into account the browser of the mobile device.
Right.
So especially on iOS devices, who for years were notorious, if you set something to 100 VH, then the bottom would chop off the page because it would take in the vertical height of the screen and not account for the browser. So those new dynamic viewports account for how much space the browser takes up on the device.
You mean the browser, as in like the
little bar at the bottom?
Yeah, like so your URL bar and your share and things like that.
So this bit here, it actually calculates from this space. So it's perfect for headers. If you want your header, you know, we've always had that issue where that element drops below and then it goes just below the fold, even with viewpoint height, because viewpoint height doesn't calculate. So the SVH will calculate the bar, and it means it will always sit perfect in that viewpoint, which is great. So yeah, let's jump back into this. I'm just going to do the gradient on this.
There you go. Nelson just confirmed.
Yep.
DVH, SVH is better.
So I'm just going to copy the
and Maria dropping stuff in chat of the difference between the two dynamic, largest, and smallest.
Such a vibe today.
It's good.
So good. Nice.
I know, it's like a real online party.
It's a real masterclass.
Right, we've got the gradient in, which is cool. Then we're going to let's get the bike in here. We'll start with a bike. I'm going to just drop this in. We're going to use, I've probably
Nice.
got a tag here, image, oh, not that one, image cover. And these are like global classes, you know, again, similar to FinSuite, having global classes and combo classes that you can kind of attach to elements that do certain things. This is obviously a really smart way to build. It does get a little bit more, what's the word? Not technical, but you need a little bit more thought because there's things that are changing in multiple places. So you can't just start changing things and you need to really think about the system that you're creating. So image cover just has width, height, 100%, and then the image is on cover. And as you can see, that's fitted into that space, which is great. I'm going to go back to the hero parent. I'm going to select the overflow to hidden because we know we're going to get that bikes to come in. And then we're also going to drop in another div here. It's going to be for the text, the super text here. We'll start with this. So we're going to do super text parent. And I'm just going to set this to absolute. I'm going to position it to the bottom. I'm going to do the width 100%. And at the moment, we don't need to worry about the height. I'm going to set that overflow to hidden. I'm probably just going to pick this up a little bit off the bottom. For REM, I'm using REM, so I am using, if we go into this little code, I'm using this little bit of fluid responsive, which is from FinSuite. Really like using this. It just scales in a really nice way throughout the breakpoints. It does help you minimize additional breakpoints that you may need to write, but yeah, I would recommend if you're not using that to look into that because it is a pretty sweet thing. So yeah, we've got this super text parent. I've probably done it about 4M. Now, one of the other things that I do actually is when you're designing, I think you're seeing it in a completely different context than when you actually start designing it in Webflow. And I think seeing in the browser, for me, I'm not one of, so I know there's developers that will be going in here and they'll be like calculating, is that 40 pixels between that space? Now, for me, I build by how it sits in its space, how it sits physically in its real space. So I really craft the spacing depending on how I want it to feel in that space, rather than actually going through the design and being like, this is 10 pixels, this is 50 pixels. I really try and do it to see how it feels best in that screen. So we'll do a little bit of that as well.
Anyone else feel called out by that?
What's
me.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said, anyone else feel called out by that comment or just me? No, I think your approach is solid. Everyone has their own approach, and what feels right works just as good as, a 40 pixel spacing grid.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing wrong with it.
Joseph's like a true chef. He's got to feel and taste it out, sample taste it, and see if it works and fits as he goes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know why some of you might be wincing, because you're probably using your traditional 4:8 pixel spacing kind of progression. Now, again, I think there's a time and a place where you use that. For me, that spacing metric is more for product, because everything has to have that vertical flow and the vertical consistency, and the buttons all need to be the same, and everything needs to be based on that 4 or 8 pixel grid. Now, I think when you're doing more creative sites, I feel like that's, again, you don't need to put that restriction on yourself. And I feel like, you can put extra spaces and you can be a bit more kind of natural with them spacing measurements. So that's kind of my analogy of why. So I've set this to 90% and I just put the spacing, the margin auto, and that's kind of center aligned it now. So as you can see here, we've got that in the middle. I probably might put flex center on it, because now when I drop the text in, this is going to make sure that text sits in the middle here. And then we're going to, I think that was right. I'm terrible at spelling. Most designers are.
This is the beauty of Joseph. He can build and commentate and teach all at the same time. Amazing.
So I'm just going to do this.
He is a show host's dream.
Yeah.
Like, just perfect.
And So what I'm thinking about this again, what we've got a number of different units and measurements that we could use here. So I could use rem. So 4 rem, blah blah blah, whatever. I will need to put this in caps. So we could use rem. I kind of want something that it just scales the text no matter the browser, so it doesn't break, because we don't want this text to break. We don't want this. Obviously, we can set on the text breaking, no wrap. But what we want is we want this to scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use viewpoint width. And viewpoint width will mean that we can bring this to where we want. We probably would need to make some changes on this if we get into more technicals of the. Now, when we resize this, look how the text now just resizes with that. And that's exactly what we wanted there. And that's great. That's perfect. So we use viewpoint width in that. I might make it a little bit bigger. I think kind of we're seeing a fall of view. Obviously, if we're on a smaller screen, as we saw, these elements are going to start to clip. You know, the bite gets a little bit smaller. So that's all fine. So that's there. I'm going to just bring the line height down a touch, just because I want it closer to the edge of this div here. And let's go through and actually start to just animate this bit. So we'll kind of, as I said, flicking between build and animation. So I'm going to do this called span text. This is a kind of a class that I use. And this is enabling us to be able to move the individual letters by interactions. So we're going to do inline block here, as you can see. And it will slightly change. And that now means that we can actually control that. Again, I just got to go through, because we're going to individually wrap each of these in a span. Super familiar technique. If you've watched my YouTube, not my YouTube, I've took my AAW Awards course. I use this all the time. Span text. Let's get this going. And what we're going to do is now we can give these. So because we're going to do this on load, we will probably, and if we wanted to reuse this, again, thinking about the system, we probably want to be able to do this by the class. So we're just going to add like a number for each of these, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the other thing to think about is if I'm going to create more of these types of text effects, we know that when we do a load-in animation, it's going to trigger them by all elements. So we don't want to use the same. So what I typically do for hero or intro animations is I put intro and then the number. So then below, if I have another animation, I will just use the 1, 2, 3, 4 so that they won't trigger. For instance, if we've got that load animation, it wouldn't trigger any of the animations below, because obviously it'd be triggering by all classes. So that's kind of really intro 2, intro 3, intro 4. Someone probably like, why aren't you using shortcuts? I don't use any shortcuts. I'm old school. Intro
so good.
And intro 7. We needed to italicize this. Now, yeah, we could get into the nitty gritties here again. I'll drop a bit of text on here. I could create a global class, italic, like that. And then I can go and add the italic property. And then what I can do is I can go to the O and I can type italic.
Oh, there
and it
you
will
go.
then apply that italic class on top of that. Now we've got some issues here because obviously that italic has moved this. So again, for this, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to get rid of that. And I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to edit on top of this intro too, because it is unique to this. So in this case, we can get away with that. And then what we're going to probably do is probably just do a little bit of shimmying. Maybe I'm going to use, so as you see with the margin there, and again, if I do the margin, it actually spaces the text out. We don't want that. What we want is we want to be able to move the element. So if we just use the position and then we use the relative, we can actually move the letter without affecting anything around it. So again, this is an interesting way of using the movement and the spacing. Some of you might have used the padding, but as you see, that's probably not the right thing. Probably going to go 1.2. Let's just quickly look at it. Cool.
Can you explain again why you do position versus margin?
So if we look at when we use the margin or the padding, it actually starts to affect the spacing of the letter. What we
Okay.
actually do is we've got enough space to be able to just move the letter.
Okay.
So the padding and the margin is going to affect other elements around it. That's the best
Okay.
way that I can describe it.
External.
When you're using the position element, you're only moving that element because it's not putting any. It's different. It's not putting a margin or a padding. It's actually just moving it. So in this instance, that's why that works a lot better.
Nice.
Cool. All right.
Good hacks.
Good little hack there. Let's animate this now. I'm gonna do a page load.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Page load.
Ladies and gentlemen, give some fire reaction to the legend at work here. This is awesome.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
We're gonna set this to the class. Let's start with what we said. So I've moved it 100% out that way, and we're gonna move it into the side. Let's see if that feels right. But what we'll do is we'll start to build up the animation, and then we're gonna go to 0%. I'm going to go to a trusty in-out quart. This is something that I use a lot, and I love it. Let's just have a quick look. See, it just looks a bit weird, it moving in from the side without the wheels moving.
On fire, man.
Yeah.
You know, it just
Looks fake.
Exactly. So let's just get rid of that, and we're going to go down. Now, let's just set this to 0. Reset that. I'm going to just do out quart. Let's try this. Yeah, see, that automatically looks so much better. And again,
Hey, Joseph, quick question.
Yeah.
Do you always use the presets, the easing presets, or do you like ever come up with your own like custom easing function?
Yeah, I always use the presets, to be honest. I think the problem is a lot of us are all kind of stuck in this top area. And what you really need to do is get down into these ease outs and ease in, ease out combinations. And it's not just about using the same type of ease. So using an out with an ease in out, you'll see the dynamics of the animation become a lot more dynamic rather than it just being all ease. And they're like, you know, they look okay, but it just lacks a little bit more finesse. So yeah, I've not really dived into custom.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. I think look, there's plenty here that's gonna help you. So we've got a bit of an issue where the bike is actually going over the text. That'll be super simple. We've obviously got a super text parent. I'm just gonna put 10 on the Z index, and that should just bring that element to the top. Let's just check, make sure that is right. Hey, we got it. Right, now we're gonna go into this. So let's start with a move. Again, we're gonna move down 100%. And this is where we're going to do the combination, exactly what I spoke about. So here we have out quart. We're going to do this one in out quart, and we'll see the difference on the way that this animation kind of comes in. See how it's slightly different, the point of it. Now it might be a little bit much, so let's a little bit quicker, and I'm just going to test to get where I feel is right. Right, and then I'm going to rock and roll with this and hit this sequence out. So another little technique, I'm just going to kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is always the nightmare. Duplicate, 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 duplicate. Now we can quickly then go change target. Where am I? Change snow, that next one. Change target. Change target, and now I can drop this on, and I'm just going to do the sequence. Point 1, drop that on. Point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5, point 6, and then we're just going to do the same for the bottom. on the start. And this is also another little technique. You've probably seen the ladder technique that I've used. This is another little technique that I've been using, which I find quite good, especially when you've got these long ass kind of sequenced animations. It's just a quick way of like, dun, dun, dun. Like you can just go back and forth, and then you can just grab all of them and drop that on and select that class.
That was too fast.
Let's put these to class, sorry. And then
that's so crazy.
this is how it look.
Bingo.
That's so good. And performance-wise, for this animation, like it doesn't take up a lot of, I don't know, bandwidth or whatever.
No. And as we build this out, I mean, a lot, and this is probably one of the reasons why we need to be very mindful when we are using external animation libraries, GSAP, Tween, all of them other things, is that it can have an impact on performance. And I've crafted my techniques so much with animations in Webflow that I can build like highly animated pages and they're getting 90 plus on performance on Webflow. On Google Lighthouse, sorry. So, and I've seen as you start to apply them libraries, you can take a little bit of a hit. It's just because them libraries are best on a custom development solution because they can really be delivered in the most efficient way. Now, because we're working inside the box, there is some limitations to what we can actually do, like how we set that up, how the system kind of renders that, and then plus we've got the Webflow CSS and the Webflow JavaScript, which get loaded all in one big bulk, and is going to have a big impact. If there's one way where we could split the JavaScript files from the Webflow animations, that would be really cool, because again, then we could serve them at different points or just serve them on certain pages. But yeah, that's another reason why I kind of stick to Webflow. Cool. So do we want to chuck a little bit of 3D in here and jazz this up a little bit more?
Ooh, yes.
It might not be so simple for this, but it could work. So I'm seeing these letters kind of rotate. So let's do that. Let's just do it. So I'm going to remove the overflow hidden on this, and we're going to go down to this bottom area. And we've got the 2D and 3D transform. Wrong one. I'm going to click the dots here. And we're going to go to child perspective. And we're just going to put this at 1,000 pixels. There's some other little things here that we could do that could be interesting. But let's just build it out first. So on this page load, we've got these down right to the bottom. We're probably not going to need this move to be so down. I would say like 50%. Maybe, or maybe the 100 is okay. Let's just see. And then what I want to do is I want to do a rotate, and you can see the rotate. You've got the X and the Y. We want to do the X, and I just need to check what way that's going. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to bring this up in view so I can actually see what way, because we want to move it towards us so that when it animates up. I'm trying to say that as best as possible. So let's 0. Does that look like it's going backwards? And I feel like that's going forwards. I don't know, but we're going to try it. And then I'm going to go rotate here, and I'm going to go to 0. And I'm going to do the in out, and I'm going to do the 1.5, and I'm going to do opacity 0, and I'm going to do opacity 100. And let's just, okay, so that's the other way. It was the other way. So I'm going to do -90. I'm trying to look at that and see, was that right? That looks like it's actually the, and then what I'm going to do is just put the move back on here, because that will add a little bit more. I can't see which way that's going. Can anyone help me whether that's going the right way or not?
Wait.
I don't know.
I think it's like flat and then coming up. Like if it's like lifting up from like being horizontal.
So one other thing that I'm going to do in here is there's some other little settings which, if we go into this parent here, we go back to this, we have this origin, and the origin can actually change the position of where that animation comes from. Now, at the moment, what we currently have is that 3D transform is actually happening from the middle. And really, we want it from the bottom, I believe. I believe we want it from the bottom. So let's just see if that has made any difference.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like it did make difference already. And it looked like it came from, so if I do the minus, I'm just looking at this. Yeah, I feel like, or do I need to? I'm just trying to think.
Feels like it's coming from the back, like.
Yeah, or do I? Maybe I go onto the Spantex and do I do it from the origin, and then I'm going to put both of them on that bottom.
Joseph,
That's
I'm
one
seeing
of
some.
the. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm seeing some comments saying try a different letter like T. That way you can maybe see it clearly.
True.
Yeah, that is a good thought.
I don't know though. I'm not quite feeling it because maybe the letters are flat. It feels like 3D would probably have more of
I
that.
think the move,
But I
the
don't know.
moving, is what's causing it. Because like, don't you want it just to be flat, and then even drew C on the paper, just flat, and
Yes.
it comes up like that rather than going up and like that. So it looks weird.
Maybe you're right.
No move at all. So it's just anchored at the bottom and going up.
Wait, I'm just going to exaggerate this a bit more.
Yeah, but I feel like you need
Yeah.
a little bit of that transform up, Nelson,
Yeah, that's what I
because
was
the bike is
thinking.
going
So
up
maybe
too.
go like 50%, and then I'm just going to rock and roll. Let's just rock and roll, and then we can look at it with a bit more, because I think the other thing that we're doing is we're
You know what this reminds me of? It's like cheerleaders, like with the little letters, and they're like all
Yeah.
raising
Go,
up
go,
letters,
go.
like yay, commute.
We're going to duplicate.
Guys, I saw that there are some questions in the chat.
Yeah, fire them.
So the first question from Adil was, what's your setup? Do you have a laptop and a screen?
Yeah, I
Yeah, you
have a-
2-screen
So I'm
setup,
a-
Joseph?
Yeah, I'm a 2-screen kind of guy. I have just a 27-inch monitor and a MacBook Pro.
Nice.
They're ever changing MacBook Pro. You buy one and then they bring a new one out. It's classic.
Are you rocking
Okay.
the M1 chip or
No.
Intel? Old school.
I literally just bought my one just before they released the
Oh.
M1, and I just dropped like $2.5 or $3,000 on this thing. So I was like, oh, fish finger's sake.
Is the fan going once in a while, or it's pretty good?
Yeah, it does get a little bit worry.
Yeah.
Nelson wants to know if you are going to apply for this year's Speed Build Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Do you know what? After watching it last year, I did think about it. Potentially, could be a possibility.
Yeah, I think you should definitely do that.
Felix is in the house too.
What's
Oh,
up,
what happened there?
Felix?
Watch out, Felix. You got you got a big competitor coming your way.
Felix did so well last year. Oh my God, that was
Yes.
so stressful.
We've got
That
some-
little button that he did, like you
Oh
couldn't
my.
catch it. That was
Yeah.
genius.
Oh my days! I've just messed up here
Uh-oh.
massively. I need to go back. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
All good.
I don't know. Did I miss any other questions?
No, I think that's it. We've all
Let me
been
try loading more.
pretty caught up here.
Oh.
We got 50 people in the house.
I know,
This is
that's
so good.
crazy.
Wrong,
So
Felix. My
good.
bad. That's what I thought. It's
Oh.
Felix Sander.
Right, let's
Yeah.
just try that again. I copied over the wrong the wrong thing here, and then I just carried on, and I was blind as a bat, and I didn't see it.
Cool. No
You know,
worries.
we all make mistakes.
And Joseph, if
yeah,
you want
that's
to
what we
focus on
wanna
the
see.
build, and we can just like talk.
Yeah, yeah. Let
Feel
me
free to
just get
do
this
that,
into
and
a
we can
place,
always
then
bring questions.
we can
Yeah.
reconvene.
We're
Oh,
just
Jason
enjoying
is in
watching you.
Costa Rica. So nice.
Jason, what's up? My 5 a.m. buddy, or maybe earlier. I don't know what time you guys. Hey, what time do you guys wake up these days?
Man, I've been
What? Add in the chat.
slacking.
Yeah, well, you're in London. You're just like, your
Yeah,
vacation.
honestly, like I think my time never really like got adjusted. So like I'm waking up at the time that I should be waking up in the US.
nice.
But I mean, my clients are texting me at 8 p.m. here. So you know what I mean? Like
Okay.
it's kind of like,
Yeah, Jeff, back on the 5 a.m. train. That's good. Felix, 6 a.m. Go to bed at 10. Yeah. Lish only woke up at 5 a.m. for this.
and on
That's
a
dedication
Saturday,
right there.
that's dedication, man.
Yeah.
Are you in bed, Lish? Like, are you like in
What is
between
going
your
on?
covers?
Why is that doing that? It's so strange. Doesn't seem to be rotating on these other letters.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Right, I'm gonna abort mission just because I don't want to sit here. You watch me fiddling around with this, so I'm gonna
Okay.
skip the rotate.
Okay.
Even though it was a nice idea, it was not successful at this moment in time.
That's
This
what
is
happens.
This is what happens.
Yeah, you
sometimes.
just try it out.
Mm-hmm.
You can't always get it right the first time, and when you're trying to do this live and quickly, and you're
Mhm.
not focusing on all these little details, yeah, shit can go wrong.
And I feel like 3D, it's just cooler when you
Yeah, and
have
that's why
like the different panels, you
I
know?
was only trying to do it for the effect of just showing something slightly different. But
Mhm.
we're okay now. Let's get back to where we was.
But
So,
Jason said you did that, like that transform effect in 17 seconds. I mean, that was awesome to see.
oh, what's going on
Yeah.
here? Getting all sorts of madness. Just get me spans wrong. In out.
I think you need more beers, Joseph.
Oh,
Loosen you up.
been drinking too many beers. I'm going to change this to
Okay.
one. Right, let's get back to where we was.
Duration of 1 second here, and you're applying it to all the letters.
Right.
Just a simple transform.
Right. Okay. Right. Let's move on to the next bit. Really, I'm going to do this text here. So let's just quickly look at that. Yeah, I think to be honest, simple is the best here, and
Mhm.
I don't think we need to overwork this at all. There is some other little ideas that I do have that's quite cool. Could do it on the fly. So here's a little idea that just came to me, and I didn't necessarily see this, and this is again something that happens to me quite a lot. Well, I'm looking at this light. Imagine we get the light to flick on and off.
That would be cool.
So we could do that pretty simple, I think. So we've got one image here. I'm just going to duplicate this.
Something tells me we're going to After Effects.
No, we're not going to After Effects.
Okay.
We're going to keep this super simple. We don't need to go to After
Ooh,
Effects.
okay.
We can just draw a little shape.
This is where the magic of Barry comes in when he does stuff like that. That it's like, wait, what?
Okay,
Oh.
well,
This
you're
is
gonna do a
super
little
rough.
cutout.
I'm just going to quickly have a look here. Now the problem that we've got is we've got this glow. Oh, how? Right, we might. Right, okay. This. I'm going to try it again. We could fail here, but I do think this is worth us just quickly having a go, because if it works, again, it just shows you that ideas can come on the fly. Oh, I'm going to go into Photoshop.
Ooh.
I need coffee for that.
Let's give it 5 minutes to open up.
Hey Joseph, there's a plugin for Figma that's like mostly Photoshop inside Figma, so you don't need to use that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Do you know the name of that? I might look into that.
I'll paste on the chat.
Cool.
Man,
Right,
look
so
how
what
fast
we need
he's
to do is
going.
we need to get rid of this glue. So the simplest way here would be, let's just cut it off. So I'm going to kind of, I am no Photoshop expert.
Yeah, just rough it out. It's all good. We get the concept.
Let's just get dirty, you know.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Cut that away.
Wow.
Okay, so there's
Nice.
that bit of the glow gone. We don't need that. And then the glow here. What can we do here? We could use a clone stamp, or one other way. I'm going to try this. I'm going to just draw around this like
Smooth.
that. And I'm going to go to layer, and I'm going to go. No, is it image? Where am I? I'm looking for, what's it called? What's that? Content aware. Where's content aware?
Content aware fill.
Where is it?
Can you go to help and type it?
Right click.
Content aware. There it is.
What's going on there? I didn't want that. No, that's definitely not going to do that. That was really.
Alex saying right click on selection. Okay, I don't know.
Where was that in? All right, so let's scrap that. I'm as I said, I'm not a Photoshop expert here. We can do this. Let me actually. I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to.
From what I know, content aware fill, you have to have it like you have to delete what you want to fill in and then like select that area.
Right. Okay. I'm going to stick with where I am.
No, I know. I just thought I'd,
No, but thank you. Right. So I'm just going to kind of copy a section here, and then we can maybe just
yeah.
start to.
There you go.
Roughly do this. Oh, not there. I got carried away with that. Let's just click that back and just. See, I'm watching where that plus icon is, because that plus icon is theoretically kind of. And then I'm going to just copy down here.
Oh, nice.
Right.
That's good.
And I mean, that was not bad at all. I think.
Yeah.
For seeing how much of a hacky job that was. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this back here, and I'm just going to trim off anything that may have spilled over. Right. And then the other thing that we can do is let's select the bike, highlight. We could highlight it like this. Again, this is a bit of a shit way, but you know. We really just want to make sure that we get rid of all of this. You could delete it, but I don't think that's right. Let's do an image adjustment, brightness, contrast, and let's just bring the brightness and get that down through that. No, we can't. Any Photoshop tricks here that we could do? Maybe put it black and white.
Oh, are you trying to animate the light?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Ooh, okay.
You do black and white and then levels, you should be able to knock out a bunch of the vibrancy out of that white.
Levels.
Look at this. The power of community and collaborative design. Okay.
Okay, we've still got this red here, and this is like, ooh, it's very rough. Let's put it that way. I'm gonna now become Picasso, and I'm gonna paint this in. Oh, let's try this. This might be another way to. I need to pick the color. And what we on? We got flow. I don't want the flow to be too mad. We're just gonna kind of.
Nice. Now, Joseph, are you using a mouse pad, or a trackpad or a mouse or
I'm using a mouse, and it shows you how good I am at mouse control.
yeah. Well, no, it's pretty good.
Right, we're gonna just kind of rough that. Okie dokie. It's not
Nice.
ideal, but look, we're gonna get the idea. We're gonna get the
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
I think, so let's not procrastinate too much, but that just shows you how much of a perfectionist I can be sometimes. Any like Photoshop experts probably like, fuck, what is he doing? What is he up to? That is a car crash of Photoshop. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't like Photoshop.
If you really want to get anal, you have to deal with the reflection off the wheels there.
Oh shit! I didn't think about that.
Good catch, Josh.
Gosh, why
I'm
did you
sorry.
say that?
No, you know what? We get it. We're gonna be.
Is there a way that we could? Oh, there is a.
You can desaturate that whole
Oh,
layer
yeah,
and it'll be
that's
just
true,
fine.
What should I go to?
That's true.
What happens if we
Yeah, keep going.
Vibrancy?
White?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
go. It's
yeah.
just
There you
black
go.
and
There you
white.
go.
Boom.
There you go.
Super. Let's go. Right. Now that looks great. Now I've
Yeah.
removed, and I feel like that's definitely plausible. We're gonna cut this out as a PNG.
This is so cool, guys.
Now, always compress your images. Where I just use tiny PNG.
Okay.
The inbuilt Webflow compressor does it also work?
Yeah, you can change them to obviously that WebM format, but I believe there is, if I'm not wrong,
It's
but
not the best on transparency.
and I think
Usually.
also there is some issues on other browsers with that image type.
Mhm.
So I'm going to drop this in. We're in.
Can't you just compress it into WebP within
Yeah,
Webflow
but
and that
the thing
works
is,
just as well?
the WebP format is actually not. It's not the. I don't know if it's the most like.
WebP is great for like photos,
Right.
but cutouts with like transparencies around them,
Yeah.
especially transparencies that have like fall off gradients.
Yeah.
It crushes them in weird compression ways and they don't look the way they're supposed
Oh,
to.
really? Okay, good to
Yeah.
know. Good to know.
Okay.
So
That's
good
how it
for
was when it
photos.
first launched. It may have improved, but
Okay, but
We've got
not
the two-
like.
We've got the two images here.
Yep.
Now, what I'm going to do is this image has actually pushed the other one down. So I'm going to give this a combo class, and I'm just going to call it AB, which is for absolute shorthand. And you can see the light in there now, which is below. Now, actually, we want this one to be below and the light to be above, I think is the right way. So I'm going to go to this image, and I'm just going to give this one the class up top. And I'm going to set the position to relative, and it's already come above it. And I will just give it another one. So now we've got them two images in there. That's great. Now, how do we want this animation to work? Do we want it to be on the load sequence, so it does flick, 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 and then it stops, or do we
Ooh.
want it to just be flicking on a loop?
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
know.
it should be flicking on a loop, definitely.
You want to do
Yeah.
it flicking on a loop? Let's do a vote.
Yeah.
Let's
I
do-
want to
let's
be
do a
able to
vote.
grab the brake on the handle and squeeze it, and that's when the light comes on.
Yes, yes. True interactivity.
Okay, so we're going to do. Are we going for a flick? Flick, flick, flick.
How do we cast a vote here in
Do it.
Butter?
I think flick. Yeah, let's do flick.
Yeah.
All right, let's go
Let's
for the
do
flick,
it.
flick. We're going to do a page load again. New one. We're going to call this light flick.
Light flick.
Woo!
All right.
Flickety flick. And we're going to do
There you go.
opacity.
Guys, the poll is on. You can vote if you want it on loop or on load.
Too late.
We've already done that.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Loop is winning.
Okay. So we've set the top one off. We're going to go opacity 100. I'm just going to do an ease. I generally do eases for opacity. Don't know why, but I just do. And I'm going to flick it off again, and we're gonna flick it on again, and we're gonna flick it off again, and then we're gonna flick it on again. So what's the start? So on, off, on, off, on, off. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna flick, 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 and then a little bit of a delay, flick on, flick off. Just going with that. So flick.
I think we should do Morse code with spelling out Joseph would be quite appropriate.
Then we'll do that, and then I'm doing 0 3, 0 3, 0 3. Then I'm gonna do a pause, a delay of 0.5, and then we're gonna do the 0 3 again. Let's just see. I'm gonna go back to this 0 3. Sounds like the McDonald's tune. Da, 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 da. I'm loving it. This.
Oh my God,
Oh,
so
Jeff.
good.
Oh,
Damn! Oh, that worked out better than I was expecting.
Damn.
Whoa!
fire!
Right.
Show some love, people.
And then what we can do is we'll put this on loop. Let's just test this baby.
Oh my God, so cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool. Yo, Jeff, if you can do this and Rive, go for it. I don't know if I don't know why you probably need the assets from Joseph.
Well,
but,
actually, he has the Figma file. So Jeff, you can use the Figma file, and this will be a clonable too.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this clonable. So,
all right,
yeah,
Jeff, do your magic. This guy, Jeff, is like extremely fast.
This worked out really, really well. There is a little bit of an issue there that I've just spotted.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got the black.
No,
and
but I
white,
think
black
it's
and white.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I think that's very easily.
Joseph, done is better than perfect.
Yes.
Yeah,
good
leave
enough.
it.
Let's
keep
go.
going
Move
with
on,
the rest
move
of
on.
the things.
All right. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. I'm
The
doing
clients say go.
it. Let's get the next thing here. We're gonna call this
So
hero
good.
text title. Again, this is going to be absolute. I'm probably going to do 4 rem to the side, 8 rem down. Let's just look at the design quickly. Yeah, that's about right. We'll go with that. We'll bring in a heading. This is gonna be
It's
our
so funny because the post that Webflow just made says, "If only my client saw me dancing to my playlist while building the site."
Oh my God, that is so funny. Wait, let's
take a
put
video.
the music. Yes. Let's take a video.
Who's doing it? Someone's got to
Please.
post it on Twitter.
Let me or
All right,
they,
there we
or yeah, you do it, Eric.
I got it. Go
Head
for
nods, everyone. Shake that booty.
it.
You are watching Live Build by Joseph Berry, hosted by Flow Party.
I'm just going to go into the
Got it.
quickly. I may have, with the font, I think I may have not put this on the right way. Yeah, see the normal is the book edit should be on light, save, back to the designer.
Oh my God, this song. Guys, I'm to this of taking a shot of tequila.
Do it.
You got to do it.
I'm kidding, I don't have any.
Oh.
Ooh.
Cool, we got that little bit of text in there, which is nice. Do we just having a quick look? We've got the button. I'm gonna use Spacer. The reason I use spacers is just an easier way to be able to space certain elements out without having to create multiple combo classes, add different things to different things. So spacers can be really useful. You know, some might see that as blasphemy, but I find it a really nice way to create a good system that then you can keep consistency in that spacing. Again, each their own. People do different things in different ways, but it's what I like to use, and it works for me really well. Inline. No, maybe I don't need the inline, so I'm going to just do BTN parent. We're going to do padding 1.2 rem, 1.2 rem, 1 rem, 1 rem. Now, at the moment, as you can see, that this button is kind of spanning the full width. We obviously don't want that. So if we put it on inline block again, this will make it go to the size that we want it to be. Now, one other thing which is quite interesting is that obviously we can style the text through the button element. And again, this can help us if we don't want to necessarily create other classes, we can style through parent elements. So actually from here, I can I can actually style this through the button parent rather than actually the text element. It's just something that I wanted to highlight because it does come in quite handy when you're doing certain things. Put that on white. So that's where now we could actually change the button text color, and that's where it would be probably suitable for that. And then I'm going to do order now.
Now, Joseph, do you build all your buttons from scratch every time you do a project, or you have all these?
Yeah, I do.
Pre-designed components. You do, hey? Wow.
I do.
Amazing.
I do. The only reason I do that is just I feel like it's everything is custom. Everything's like an experience that I'm putting together. So yeah, I do copy and paste some elements in, but yeah, most of the time I just build from scratch. So I've just done a div hide here, which is going to have overflow hidden, position relative. I am going to give this a class, so we're going to call this BTN text. And then what we can do is we can just Apple C and Apple B, and I'm going to just duplicate this and do a B for absolute. And then I'm going to position that to the top. So we've got two little text elements in here. Do we want the text to be white? Do I want the button? Oh, we have that orange, and I would love to see this button with that orange. So I'm going to go down to the transitions. We're going to do a background color. I'm going to put this on 400. We're going to do a hover, and we're going to do that orange.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, my brain here is saying, is that black going to be accessible? Would it throw an accessibility rating issue on that? That's just from previous experience, but I feel like it probably would. So maybe this text would need to be white. So I'm going to create a global class here. I could just create a combo class on that, but I may use text white in other places. And this is where having these global classes is going to kind of speed things up. So now I can go text white, and that will change to white. So we're set with that. Okie dokie. So let's go back to the heading. I forgot to use rem, so 4 rem. Well, too big. Maybe we do it a little bit bigger actually. So I'm going to go to put 8. I'm going to change this down 1.1, and then I'm going to just move this along. I'm using CH as the way to contain this element. I could just do it on the text, and I've wrapped a div around it. Actually, Diego was the one that reminded me of the CH unit when I was building last time. And this is basically a way that you can contain how your text wraps. And this is really important for keeping things in a nice, concise structure. So use the CH property when you want to kind of contain it and make it wrap in a certain way. Let's just have a little look. All looks good. Let's animate this text. Now, how do you think we should animate this? Do we think we should just be a little bit more softer with this? Maybe animate it. We could either. So there's a couple of ways we can.
I think you should animate each one of the individual characters.
Oh my God, no.
Oh, that would take so long for me to do it in one time. we'll be
hour
here
to
for about
animate
10
that.
years. I have done sequences like that, but let's go with. We can actually. So what we can do is we can go through and do our span text again.
By word.
My word. Oh, this is fun. I'm enjoying it. Is everyone having fun? Is everyone enjoying this?
Of
Mhm.
course, we're having a blast.
Yeah.
People are already taking shots, and then Carter just chugging vodka.
what
So
we could
it's,
do,
it's a party.
we can still use our sequence that we've created.
Oh,
We can see how this looks.
okay.
It might, and this is why, this is when you set up this system, it now becomes reusable. Now, the problem that we've got is that on that one, we have that setting. So I'm going to create another one called Alt. Some dodgy classing names going on here, people, but hey. And then we can just sort that one out.
Right.
And then we can go intro 3. Where is 3? What am I doing? Intro 3. Intro 4. Intro 5. And intro 6.
Boom.
Okay. Now, the reason why that's not going to work is because we haven't got any fade on this. So what we probably will need to do is, should we add a fade to this? But I like this coming up as a clean motion without the fade. So in this instance, we can't reuse this. We could hack this. Obviously, this is where actually GSAP would be good, because at the moment we can't recreate this effect in Webflow.
Yeah.
Because what we can't do is we can't put a div hide in each of these individual letters once it's wrapped in a paragraph or a heading tag. We would have to physically separate this out into 2 separate lines and then put a div hide around the whole block. So TweenMax, all of them libraries allow you to have that animation where you could then do the hide animation with this. So that is one reason why you might want to use that.
Joseph, sorry, you want to hide the words, like, and not just like add a fade effect, but just like they were
hidden.
Like
hide them on a div with overflow.
So when I have to do this, I actually used the span, and inside the span, I actually used some of the formatting tags like bold. If you add bold, you can add a class to the bold, and you can add the animation inside the bold, the bold tag. So it's like 3 levels.
Whoa. So if we get this,
just add bold.
Right, I obviously want to get rid of that bold, yeah?
Yes.
So
and you just
say no bold. Love this. And then I'm going to get this back to where it was. Yeah.
Done.
And then can I then hide this?
Yeah, so change the order of the.
So then do I need to do the
span tags go to the no bold.
And then can I put an overflow hidden on the no bold? On the span text, sorry.
Yes.
Whoa, what's going on?
There I go. And then
that was massive. Nice.
Right,
nice.
So then I'm going to do a span text, like you said, intro 1, and then no bold.
Okay.
And you'll say, oh my days! I can't believe it's done it. In some ways, it has done it. Wait. Let's get rid of that. What am I doing? Oh, it didn't. Oh, what
You're missing the high class inside the span.
Right, okay.
Tag span needs a high class.
Diego. What a hack.
Genius. Fuck. Oh my God, why didn't I even think of that? Oh my goodness. That is so cool. That is
Diego, you gotta crack a beer to celebrate that. You taught something Joseph did not know.
Yeah, and I'll remember this day for my whole life.
The milestone in your career.
But what did
Yeah.
I say? What did I say earlier? What did I say earlier? You don't know everything. Don't act like you know everything. Because there you go. Like I've just learned something new. And that's the beauty of what we do. You can always learn stuff.
But it seems to be the letters seem to be appearing a little too high.
Yeah, that's fine. I can
the
sort
height?
that. I already know what I'm going to do to correct that little bug there that you're seeing.
Is that within the animation panel or?
Yes, we can just drop the animation lower. So I need to.
I love that when everybody realized that it was actually a trick, Diego was like,
So Diego, how did you figure this out?
yeah, for real.
Well, basically trying to do the same as Joseph is just trying to do, like not using any third-party libraries to just do something. And yeah, accidentally I realized that when you add the bold effect to a character or whatever, a word, it goes inside this pen text. So yeah, so three layers of 3 levels of things. That's the trick. So yeah, it happened by accident, as most of the things that we learn.
That's a true hack.
That is oh mate, that's blown my mind. I'm like in a new world at the moment.
I wonder how many different little things you can do with this. Essentially,
Exactly. That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Because it's like a whole nother layer of, I don't know, an optimization or sorry, an adjustment. But you're using the bold. Can you use the same for like italicize and all that too?
I haven't tried that, like using bold and italic.
Yeah.
Maybe it works.
Interesting.
I'm sure it will. We got a lot going on here, people.
Okay.
Right, okay. Let's have a little look. Oh, something went wrong. What's wrong? There's something. So we've got the intro. Damn.
That's cool.
Why is that not doing it? Why is that one not doing it?
So obviously we're doing this by word.
Look what's happened here though on that intro. So what we can do is okay, all right. So we got some little things here. So you see like how we got a bit of a thing. Yours drop down when you take that off. So what we want to do, what we got here? Oh, no bold. Intro 3. That why is that intro 3 not working? I'm gonna do no hide. Take that off. Now that's just dropped a little bit as well. So we got a few little things going on. I'm gonna go back to the span intro because this is where we actually did the positioning. And this is where sometimes when you start to add combo classes or global classes, you need to make sure that you actually change the element that you started to add the global class on. Otherwise, you're going to start crossing out all
messing up the whole code.
Yeah. So on here, we can now do 0.5 rem, maybe 0.6, and that's cool. Why has that gone there now? Oh, because we've got, okay, so now we have got that. Right. So in this instance, we don't want to do it here. We actually want to apply it to that extra no hide. So 0.6 rem, and that won't affect that. That's great. Okay. Now, I don't understand why this one is not working. Span text, let's just check. Span text, great. 1, 2. Look, there we go. Look, I've it's in row. That's why. I did the right. There's in row. I'm going to turn in row 3. I would go back. I just can't believe you've clocked that. Right. Okay. So we've got some issues now. We were saying, what are these issues? What are the issues we've got? The line height now is too big. So I'm going to go back to this heading class, and I'm probably going to just bring this together a little bit more. Okay, that's good. Maybe I'm going to do 9.5. Great. Now, the other issue that we have is what Josh said, which is we can see the text. Super easy. Just go into the page load and let's just drop. And typically, when I do a move down, I always do like 110, 120, something like that. And there you go.
Oh, man, that's so much better. Wow.
So cool.
Yeah, wow.
Diego, I can't believe you've just like shown me this, because this is pure gold right here.
Game changing.
This is so cool. And then we're just going to animate this button. Now, bearing in mind, we're going to have BTN parent on the page down below. So if we're going to do on the load, it's going to animate all of these. So simple thing, add a combo class intro. And now when we do it to this, it will only animate this one. And that's what we ultimately want. I'm just going to do a little bit of a move here. I don't know, 60 pixels. Get to the end of this sequence, probably a little bit more of a delay. We're going to do an out quart. We're going to do a 1 second. And we're going to do 0. And then we're going to do opacity 100. I'm going to try 0.5. Let's keep it cool. There you go. Sweet. What we haven't done is we haven't published this. Let's just see what it looks like on the preview. I'm going to share you a link soon. Oof. Love it. Love, 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 love. Right, we've got the button animation that we're going to do quickly. So let's get the button. I'm going to share the link once we've done the button, and then we can move on to the next section below. How is everyone feeling? We okay? We want to stay? We want to continue?
Yeah, we're feeling great.
Okay. Is everyone still up for this?
Yeah.
Richard
Thumbs
says
up.
your line height is a bit broken on the word recycle letter Y, but guessing that's an easy fix.
Where?
Recycle
It
letter
looks like the
Y.
descender of the Y in recycle is cut off. I think maybe. is what
Oh,
he's saying.
because of the overflow
Good spot.
hidden.
Good spot. Okay. So that's because of the line height. Now, maybe we could adjust the line height on the no bold. But that's going to bring, okay, so we've got, this is going to be a little bit of an issue because of this, because we have this. So what we could do, I'm just trying to think here, because we're going to open that up. This will be better now. And that's because that line height is done across just that letter. So we need to think about this quickly here. Do we do it across the span text? That's going to bring that all up. No, I don't want to do that. Yeah, it's probably on one of these, but we need to do it on. So if I go to this and I type in no bold, this is effectively a global class that we created at the beginning. We should be able to adjust it, which we can, and it does them all. 0.5, and there you go. And then I'm going to just delete that. Oh, 0.5. Sorry, delete that. Oh, it's still there, you little beggar. It's just there. We're going to just.
No cursing. It was about to be like that. Beep, beep, beep.
I said beggar. I said beggar. There you go. That will do. That will do. So we've solved that. Great. Let's get back onto this button. Button hover. This should be pretty simple. All we're going to do is just animate the text here. So I'm just going to do a move. Set this 0%. I remember someone said to me, "Why do you always set the initial state? Because sometimes you don't necessarily need to set that." The reason is because sometimes when you don't set it, it can bug out. I can't remember who said it to me once, but they were like, "Yeah, do you know you don't have to apply the initial state?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do know that, but the problem is that, as I've said, sometimes when you don't, it bugs out." Now, at the moment, what we've got is we've got the button text on 0, then moving up. We've got the absolute text down and then moving to 0. Now, the reason why we can't see it is because it's obviously white. Once we hover the button, we will be able to see that. Duplicate, and then we're going to just send the button back to 0 and then move that back down. We can get rid of this. Let's just have a look. Now, for me, that's a little bit slow. Just feels a bit, I always find buttons should be a little bit more snappier, maybe. I've spoke about this before, and I'm thinking about the perspective of the element and how that element can move across the screen. Like bigger elements take longer, smaller elements might look slower, and it's kind of a perception thing in animation. It's just how I see it. I might be talking a load of rubbish, but it's just kind of what I see, and I just feel like sometimes on certain animations, it's like that just, you see how that just feels a little bit better. I know that's only a very, very small change, and what I'm going to do is I'm now going to publish this, and I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to drop it in the chat, and you guys can quickly just have a little gander. Great. One thing on the button is we're going to put this in a link block. The link now has styled, so we've got the underline. We can get rid of that. So let's just get rid of the text decoration, and I think that should be fine. Hopefully there's no color applied to that. Perfect. Great. Okay. Now, do we feel like we could, I don't know, I'm just looking at this like, right, this button needs to be delayed further. I kind of want the button to come in a little bit more delayed. Let's publish this. Nah. Right.
Mute.
Beautiful. Loving it. Loving it. And that idea with the light, oh God.
I know. It was so good.
I mean, again, that just small little idea has really elevated this. There could be something we could wipe this in. There could be some transitions that we're going to do. We've obviously got the navigation next, but let's get on to a new section so that we can get a little bit more interesting. I know that's taken quite a while to build, but this kind
But I think from now on it'll be smoother since we already have some things in place, no?
Yeah, it should be. I'd say it should. Let's see.
Famous last words. It'll go by really fast.
Exactly. Okay. So moving into this section. Now, I remember I said I wanted this section to kind of go underneath the white section as we move. Now, there is something else that could come to fruition here, is that we could control, as we scroll, we could control the bike movement as well. So we could actually animate the bike as we scroll down into the next section. Let's get this next section down, and then we can actually see. So I'm just dropped a div below. I'm going to call it section, funny that, and I'm actually going to change the tag, something else, just make sure it's on section, go to the head, change this, make sure it's on the header, make sure we got the good semantics in here. I'm going to put this on width 100%. I'm just going to put this as relative. We're probably going to need some spacing, and we can do that in a minute. I'm going to drop another div inside the section. I'm going to call this container. We're going to give this a width of, it's going to be the same width as this. So let's just check what that was. I believe it was 90%, and that is correct. So we're going to do 90%. We're going to set it to spacing auto on the margin. And then we're also going to set a max width. Let's have a little look here. What size? 1680, 1920. I'm going to go 1680, which is slightly smaller. We can always adjust that.
What's up with the button? Am I missing something?
Why? What's going on?
Why is it white text?
Yeah.
What's happened?
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh.
It's just because that's just the don't throw me off in this.
Sorry.
Okay, so we got this section here. This is where I'm gonna do some spaces again here. I know I could do other things here. I could give the container some padding top and bottom. But yeah, I'm gonna just do it like this space here. And then I'm gonna duplicate and I'm gonna do space medium. And we're gonna go 6 rem. I'm gonna do 2 of these. And we've got this split coal. I'm just gonna use grid. 2 coal alt. Let's edit this. Let's get rid of that. We know that this. Let's have a look at the. Let's drop the copy in, and then we can decide how we want to split that out first. Now we've got this here. I'm going to just first. I could just drop the text in here. Do I? But I'm going to just drop a. I'm just going to drop a div in here for the moment. I'm going to call it parent. I'm going to set it to relative. And then I'm going to drop this text in. You can't see the text. And we need to change it from a heading 1. So we're going to do a heading H2. Because we've got all of that text animation. And that will slow us down a little bit. So we'll pause on that because I want to do this header movement because I think this header movement could be quite interesting.
What are we going to do? Are we going to move the whole thing?
Yeah, well, let's. And I'm going to just create a global class, text black. And,
oh my God! I love that song!
and then I'm going to do text black, and that should make that black. Perfect. And then we're going to grab this. We're going to get rid of all of that for the moment. We've got the bold here as well. Where's that? Oh. Right. So the reason why I did, so we're on a H2 here. I'm going to go to this. Let's quickly style this. I didn't style these. Let's go 2 rem. Let's light where it should be. Make sure that is on that. This is the line height, 1.1. And then we could just do, we've got the text black. So I'm going to get rid of the text black and I'm going to do text size 1. And this is where we're going to use the CH. 30 CH. I'm going to bring this down. We want it on 2 lines, and then I'm going to add the text black on top. Now that's back to that point that I said, because if we wanted to edit this text size as we go through the breakpoints, we need to remember that this global class is on top, so that we would really have to go through and take it off and then make the change and then put that back on. Could be problematic because it's white and we can't see it. The other thing could be is that actually, if we looked at the page, yeah, we've got a combination of white and black text. So what I would do is I would go with what the dominant text color would be. So in this case, we're 50-50. So it doesn't really matter whether it's white or black. So this is where we have to kind of create that little system. But if the text was more black on the page, then I would set the body to make the text black. And then I would create a global class for the text white. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got this in here. That's all good. I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to drop a paragraph in here. Let's get the copy. Oh, it's on my copy. Who's on my copy? Right, let's start this. Get rid of that. 1.2 rem. I want it actually on the book, the normal one here. That's fine. Probably a bit more, and then we can do a text black just to see it. I'm going to open this out. Okay. All right. I've just seen something happen there that we need to sort out, but that's pretty good. I think the sizing is good. Probably we can maybe make this a bit bigger. And this is again how I'm just doing it by eye. I kind of feel like that is good, and I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. The hero. Now that is interesting. Now why is that? Okay, so simple. If we look, why is it not hiding that element? And that is because some of these elements inside of here are absolute position, and the hero parent has not set the position to relative. So now once we set that, there you go, it will come out from there, and that's what we wanted. Small little thing that I just missed, but that's how it goes. And then what we've got to do here is we've got the section. Now I'm going to put a z-index on this section to 1, and then we've got the header parent, which is going to be just on 0. Now on this section, we want to make this white. Now we could just add white, and I'm going to do it like that for the moment. I don't want to get too technical here with global classes, and I'm just going to add that white here. So that's in position. Then we've got this border line. This could get tricky. I didn't really think about it. Do you know what? I saw the video of the Relu Lumble on TikTok, and I was reading through some of the comments, and it was really interesting to see some of the comments and how everyone's an expert. And people were like, "Oh, you can't! Oh, developer's nightmare!" And I was just like, "What?
Oh, they're savage.
Who could not develop this page? I mean, it's not exactly the craziest thing, and it just shows you like this is not difficult to build at all, really. I mean, it might be for some, but this is pretty easy in my eyes, to be honest. But yeah, it was just interesting to see some of them comments.
Yeah, they're noobs though. Like they don't really understand.
Yeah.
Even like what platform. They didn't even know that it's on Figma.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
Yeah.
The noobs. Right, and then we're going to add a line in here. I'm just going to call this border line BTM. Absolute to the bottom. 100%. We're going to do 1 pixel. And then we're going to give it a color. We're going to drop this down to 20. And there's our border line. Then we've got the next section here, which is going to get a little bit spicy. So let's have a think about how we would build this, because we've got this line element which is going to go down. We've got this here, which is theoretically in that same grid structure. What we need to do is we need to position this, but the line's got to go down. So we're going to have to give that a height, I would say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. And now you can see we've got our border line, and then we've got this here. So this is why I wrap this in a parent, because we can then just get rid of that. We've now got our section set up. We can remove the border from the bottom in this one. And then what we can do is we can add in this. So I'm going to get rid of this text. I'm going to drop another grid inside of a grid. Grid, baby grid. And we can give it the same class to Cole. We said alt, but yeah. And then I'm going to go back into editing the grid, and I'm just going to do the gap 2rem to give us a little bit more space, and then 2rem here. Let's just quickly look at this. Now, I've just noticed that the text did slightly change, and I don't like the way that that's wrapping, so I'm going to slightly all of that. Nice. See, I'm just feeling this out. I'm obviously on a super large screen. So what I do is when I'm building, I will drag this into that screen. I will start to resize it. I will change it around. I will explore to see how I want this to respond. And it's really important that you do that. Don't just go through these and be like, yeah, that's great. Because you need to do this. You need to go like this.
Yeah, Phyllis.
You need to do that. I need to go into this one. I need to open this up. And I'm looking at the elements. I'm looking at how they're wrapping. As you can see, we've already got issues going on. So it's really important that you do that because, I feel like sometimes we overlook these little details. So what have we got here? Now we've got the 25. So I'm going to put these in a parent. Oh, let's get that in here. Parent. We're going to get text. We're going to do. Oh, that should have been called parent. What happened there? What happened there? Parent. We're gonna set ourselves up for success, as one might say. We're going to do div hide. We're going to call this text. Oh, sorry, text number. We're going to get this onto that one, and we're going to probably put it at 4M to start with. Can't see it. I'm going to give it this. Now, again, we could actually get into that viewpoint width again, getting that to scale with that could be quite interesting. I'm gonna beef these up. Now let's just get this other text in. So I'm gonna drop in another text block. Oh, wow. I hate when it does that sometimes. You see how it sticks? There's also some other annoying things where you have to deselect on elements like really hard. Sometimes it can just be a bit of a pain. And then we have the text black. So I'm actually gonna do a text size again. I'm gonna do 1. Let's see what that looks like to see if we could reuse that. No, it's obviously too tight, so we can't. So I'm going to duplicate 2, and then we can strap this out, text black, and then I'm going to go back to here, and I can just now dial this in like that. Now let's go to the body. I'm going to set the body size to 1 rem. Like that. Cool. And maybe we're going to go back to the body, and I'm just going to bump that up a little bit, maybe. Text number, I'm going to bring this down. That's cool. We're going to put in a spacer here. Spacer small, which is going to be too big, and I'm going to do spacer X small, and then we can bring this down. Let's go like that. Cool. And then we're gonna duplicate. We've got that in there now. Coming along nicely.
Nice.
There's going to be some nice movement in this section. I can already feel it. I got a feeling. Oh, they're both the same text, which is perfect. And then they're a little bit faded. So I'm just going to create a text class called fade. And I'm going to set the opacity to 60. And I can add another one here now. Now, the reason why I did that is because probably I may use fade in other places. So again, I could just apply that fade class to other elements. Let's just publish. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to also open the screen on my other monitor at the side. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the sizes for me are looking pretty good. Everyone agree?
Yes.
Now, I've actually seen a bit of an issue here. Now this has changed. for some reason or another. Okay, and I'll publish that again. Okay, we happy with that?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
good.
Okay, now this is where it starts to get a little bit fiddly because what we've effectively got is we've got this line that's going to go through. Now, how could we do this? Now we've got the container. This is where the line is probably going to be best to go. And we're going to do border, line, side. We're going to do width is 1 pixel. Height is 100%. And at the moment, no, actually, we might be able to control this with the size. So I'm just for the moment, I'm just gonna put 40 rem. Obviously, that's gonna push it down. But once I make it absolute, it will. Now, as you can see, we kind of have the sizing that we wanted, which is perfect. Now we want to get it to here, so I think we will use %, and we can dial it in like this. So I'm probably going to go 45. Let's have a color. Remember, it was on 20. Oof.
Now, what if it animated on scroll?
Yeah, we're going to animate. Yeah, exactly. As we come to it, it can draw down.
Yeah.
And that's why I did the borderline as a separate element. I didn't notice that. I didn't say that, but yeah, thanks for highlighting that. I was just in my zone then, just doing stuff.
You're good.
So that's that. Loving that. I think it's looking really cool. I think the sizing and the proportions are working well. I've got it up on my other screen to the side here. And I'm just going to quickly have a little look. Now, I'm probably going to make this container feel slightly smaller. I'm going to do 1520. And again, this is where I'm sizing it in the Bright browser. I'm just really playing and getting this nice. Now, I also feel like my positive impact is a little bit small. So I'm just going to bump this up. I'm going to check the size of the H1, 2.8, 2.2. I'm going to make the heading a little bit bigger. Obviously, with kind of typography progression, we're always looking to see a clear indication between different font sizes. And that's something that sometimes maybe someone's slightly at a beginner stage would miss, is that they create text sizes that feel too similar. And to create a good hierarchy in your type system is really to make sure that there is a clear difference between one size to another. And then I always use the rule of thumb of trying to minimize the amount of font sizes that I'm using. Again, that consistency is going to help with your design and the way that the design looks. So too many font sizes could be problematic. It's going to cause you lots of nightmares. So try and keep that as minimal as possible.
Joseph, do you ever run with the style guide page to help you keep things in line on bigger builds?
Yes, exactly. I would create a page in here and call it style guide and do all the headings and go through all the breakpoints and get all of that right as a base. And then I would, go through and kind of, rectify that.
Awesome.
So we're looking pretty dandy. I am liking this. Now the other element that we need to add in is the recycle text. Now, what do we do? What do we do with this? I'm just trying to see, do we do anything more than what we normally do with these kind of thicker tape things? Could have it animate in. I'm just going to keep it simple. So let's go back.
Is that wheel going to animate?
Oh yeah. I've already cut the wheel out. I have the wheel image section here already built because I was playing around with it. So this will help us speed it up. And actually, I'll turn it on right now. There is the wheel flex center. There's the wheel right there. Obviously, as we can see, the line And this is where this could get a little bit problematic, because if I increase this, no, it's not going to, which is perfect. Now, the thing that we want to do is I'm going to remove. See what I mean? See how I have to select on this element. I'm going to get rid of that spacing just so it's, and that's. I have got the wheel moving already, as you can see. Woohoo!
So it feels like the natural thing to do would be make that ticker move at the same rate the wheel rotates.
Yeah.
Across the screen in the same direction.
Could definitely be like that. So let's drop in. So we're in the container, in the section. Okay, we're gonna have to do a little bit of a hacky hack here.
I got a question with those numbers, the percentage.
Yep.
Anyone want to drop in the comments or the chat? What do you guys use as good codes to like let it count up?
I've already got something that we can use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a few out there, right?
Yeah. We're gonna go with super text. No wrap. Let's get this on the black. Let's get here. And then we know it's caps. Probably going to create just one more in here, I feel like. Oh, I'll do one more. Why not? And I'm going to keep this rem. No wrap, no wrap, diggy diggy, no wrap. How are we feeling on size? Yeah, I feel like it's pretty big. I'm going to go with the book. Should be a little bit lighter. Let's go 14. Now we're going to have this issue. Woohoo! Where it scrolls to the side. Simple way is, obviously, we could just apply it on the section. Overflow hidden. And there you go. That stops that from doing that. We actually need to pull this text down. And actually, what just... right. Did you see we lost the line there? We also need to make this no text wrap or absolute. But we might, for instance, if we was building out a system here, we might use this in other places, and we might not necessarily want this text to always be absolute. So in this case, what I would do is I would actually give it a combo class if we was going to reuse it, just because we might reuse it, and yeah, that's the reason why I would do it. And then I'm gonna why is that going to that? I'm just checking. Okay, that's okay. So we're gonna have to pull this down for I know this is maybe could we push it from the top? Just 4M. Let's push it down. And we're going to look at the space in here. It's kind of like that, I would say. Let's just check. Okay, we've got a bit more of a dip on that wheel. But we're liking the size. I think the size of the text looks great. I'm really happy with that. I'm just going to publish this. Okay. All right, okay, it's a little bit low now. I'm going to just tweak this. Then there's probably going to be some tricky responsive issues that we may need to solve with this, but we won't get into that. We'll now animate this. Cool? Everyone good?
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I'm going to
Hang in there.
Yep.
We all still good?
Perfect.
I am thinking, should we just take a very quick, I need a quick toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do it.
Should we take a little short break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone can do some things. I'm gonna grab some snacks.
5 minutes later.
So yeah, we're gonna do this little animation that I was talking about. We're gonna grab the hero, and we're going to do a while scrolling in view, and we're just gonna call this hero scroll, and we're gonna go to. Look, I'll show you the issue with what would happen. So we're gonna do 0% on the position, and then we're gonna move down like, I don't know, 20%. It doesn't need to be a lot. Now, if we activate this, you can already see that animation is firing because you're done from 0 to 100. So what we need to do is we just need to offset this, and 50% would be the area that we should offset that. And now we won't have that jump, but when we go, we have this movement. Now, as you can see, we've got this like white bit that's not going over the top, which is strange because I did set, and let me just look at this again. A bit of a jump there, that's weird. Okay. Let's go to the section.
I would say it's because you have it at 100%. You know, to me, it happens the same thing all the time. So in the animation, you have it at 100%. So if you put it, let's say 70%, it probably you would see how it's gonna affect, and you would see how it's gonna act.
Yeah, but as we can see here, it looks like it's going over the top. But I did. That's really strange because I did apply. Oh no, I didn't. I did a text. There you go. Look, silly Billy me. Right. That should.
You have no back.
Yeah. See how it's going
Oh,
over the
yeah.
top now. Look at that little bit of movement there on that. That's so cool. So soft. Just as we move out, like it kind of feels like. And this is where I was saying that we could actually move this as well. So now this is. In my course, I called it the double div wrap technique or double attack element because what we need to understand is the image cover that we've created. We're animating this in via the page load. Now you can't animate and do a scroll animation on the same element. It will bug out. It will kind of glitch out. So we're going to have to rework a little bit of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop in a div and we're going to put these images inside of the div like this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this image cover parent. We're going to give it width 100%, height 100%. We're going to set it to relative. Now, we're just going to check. Okay, it's still working. Now, what we've enabled ourselves to do is we're animating the images, but we can now also animate this cover parent. So what we can do when we go back into this scroll is now I can select this and I could move this. And we could maybe throw in Melissa's idea of it moving to the side or out of frame. So as we see here, see how it's moving? Now it's a little bit jolty on this screen, so I will publish just so I can see it a bit better on here.
If it's slightly scaled down as it moved off the screen, it would look real organic.
What's that?
If the scale got smaller, because it's technically driving away. Because it's not a straight profile.
Go. Look at him go. He's pulling out a scale as well. I love that. Again, this is how we can combine a combination of effects, which is going to give us slightly different results. What do we want to go? Small, or we got a little bit of an issue there on the scale, but that's fine. That's fine. We can.
Yeah, something subtle. Yeah.
Something subtle. Now we can sort that really easy. Now we can just set this to absolute and just pin it to the bottom. And that way we can scale and it will scale to the bottom. So
let's see it.
Let's see it. one other thing that I forgot to do. Let's go into the scroll animation and let's bump up the smoothing. Let's make it like 90. Nice and like gooey. So hungry. Oof.
Yeah. Just that little bit made a big difference.
Yeah.
Small details. Now, do we feel like the text going over the top is a bit much? Do we need the text to do that as well, or do we like that?
I like that.
I like it because it does hide that the spokes aren't spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it works really well in our favor.
Okay. Now, would we dare to say maybe we can just fudge the color to be a little grey, so that when we do the cut,
You can see the difference.
you
Yeah.
actually see that there's a bit of difference.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we do it on the text, or do we do it on the white? Right, do we change? Oh, I'm doing it on the text color. Do we do it on like? Do we go like that? What do we think?
No, I actually really want the crispiness of the
white.
Yeah.
So, do I leave this idea of changing the text?
Yeah, I like the idea of changing the text.
I mean, I'm just playing around here, but like maybe the text doesn't need to be white. Let's just publish that. Let's get into the link when you're ready. It's getting published soon, hopefully. Here we go. Do we like the grey? I kind of like
We're
it.
not seeing it. Do it on the
Just publish the link. I quite like the grey, you know.
Let me see.
Refresh the link that I sent.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I kind of like that too.
It just gives it a little difference. Like it kind of sets the focus a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it makes you focus a lot more on in order
Uh-huh.
now and what they actually do rather than just the name.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So again, I think that's a really nice little change that's happened in practice. Love the bike idea. Oof. I mean, that header is so interesting and dynamic. And it's worked really, really well. So I'm super happy with that.
Yeah, love it. Me too.
So that's that. We've nailed that, I think, very well. I'm just gonna touch this a little bit lighter. Nailed that, and we're gonna go into this. We can do some things there. We've got this here. We've got the text, which is through here. I do have the bike image, so what I could do is scroll wheel, and we have a move. I'm just going to start with -5%. Oh, -5%. And then we're going to do move 5%. Too much. So what I need to do is I actually need to bring this back further. So let's go -10, and then let's just go to 0, 0, 0. Minus. Let's do that. Let's see what that looks like. I feel like I knew there was some movement going on. Yeah, we haven't sorted that issue, have we?
I thought we did.
No, because we had the thing. So simplest thing that I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a div hide. Put this inside of there. Now we have issue because this text is AB, So I'm going to get rid of the AB, and I'm actually going to do the move on this. So move down, what was it, 22, 22 rand. Or 20. And this needs to be on absolute. There you go. Now, hey, what is going on? What is going on there? Okay. Oh, why is that div hide not cutting that off? Is it because it's absolute? Let's set that to the viewpoint width. Okay, so I had to set a width on that, and now it's stopped that from coming off. I'm going to publish this. All right. Oh, it's come up with bad gateway.
Oh, you changed that animation.
Yeah.
And you got rid of the
Okay.
commute animation.
It still has the animation, but we changed the color,
Oh, I see.
and the bike now has a move out and a scale.
Very subtle. Very subtle. I
Mhm.
think it needs a little bit more.
Right, this is
Smaller size, but-
reload quickly.
That's cool though.
Just lagging. Oh, why is it coming up with bad gateway?
Did anyone notice the minor performance updates with like page loads and stuff? Webflow, I think they announced that like a few days ago.
Mhm.
We're going to go back to the bike image on the scroll. The issue that we have is because we changed the classing of this. So I'll just bring that back. And that should. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Who's playing the music, by the way?
I feel like that movement's pretty small. Oh, getting a little bit of a glitch there. 25. Yeah, there you go. Love it. Love, 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 love. Right. I believe the wheel needs to be above the line. So I'm going to just bring the Z index up to that. And that should be in situ. Now we can go on to like bringing this all together with some of these other animations. So we've got to do this again. Fantex center bold. Right, okay. So bear with me while I hit this up. I should be able to get this quickly.
Bring me a higher Oh my god, I thought I was muted. I mean, this is just my mood because I'm actually cleaning and I didn't have it on because you were recording and I'm actually cleaning and doing my laundry, singing, watching you guys.
I love it.
Right, so we'll just bold in and then
This is now my Peloton playlist.
Real life, yeah, actually, this is me at this moment at my best. Not even dressed, Jesus.
Are you getting ready for the eclipse?
I am. That I told you. I wrote it. I'm cleaning. I'm doing my things. So yeah, of course.
This is where we're going to use the 1, 2, 3. We're not going to use the intro one. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got another clip 5. And then we got no bold. No bold. And that should sort out that clip, hopefully, because of the update that we made last time to that no bold. Oh, kind of. Sweet. Now we've got some line height issues. I'm just going to drop this down. Great. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select the text element. We're going to go to the element trigger. We're going to do a scroll into view. We're going to do 15%. We've got that page load. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate that because it's got some of that animation that we can use. And we're going to do this scroll text animation. And what we can do is we can change target. Change target. Change target. Change target. Change target. Then I'm going to get rid of all of that. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. One. Get rid of that. Get rid of that.
Do you ever use GSAP, Joseph, or never?
Huh?
Do you ever use GSAP or never?
Never. Now that I found this new trick out, I don't think I will ever use it.
For real.
Look at that. Oof. So cool. Right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just create a global animation here, which is also something that I use quite a bit. We'll go fade in. I'm just going to do a fade on this. When it comes up with the green one, the interaction trigger, that means you can just apply this to anything really. And it just means, yeah, you can reuse it in multiple places. These seconds. That'll do. Then we're going to come here. We're going to do a scroll into view. 15. Border, line, draw, size, initial 0%. Then we're going to do size.
Oh, I like this.
100%. We're going to do a core.
A little grow.
There we go.
Look at that.
Let's go 1.5.
It's so satisfying.
Love it.
Now, what ease in? Okay, in out court. You just gotta use that as a
and then I'm also
default for now.
This one as well. So I'm going to change this to class. And then I'm going to do height is 0%. Size, height, 100%. Oh no, we did it on REM, didn't we? What was the size of the thing that we did?
I don't remember.
50 REM, that'll do. In out. Oh, in out quote.
You kind of need like masterclass on animation. I don't know what like quart versus
there you go.
quint or pint or whatever.
I think GSAP has a little what was it that I saw? Like you can see the different easings, how they behave.
That's so nice, Joseph.
Let's go. I'm going to quickly go to Webflow and I'm going to copy over a little bit of code for the counting of the numbers. The numbers. Where did I use it? I know where I used it. Oh my God, he's proper singing, isn't he? Right.
Guys, I'm gonna mute myself. I'm sorry.
You do that, Pavarotti.
Yeah, GSAP visualizer. That's where you can see it.
Okay. Let me see.
Right there, they dropped the link.
Just drop this here. This is just some count up library with some other stuff in it, nothing major. And then we're gonna go counter. So I'm going to span this and I'm gonna put the class counter, span, counter. Let's have a look at that. Let's publish that. Okay. Refresh. Oof. Does everyone want to refresh the page? I'll show you it here. So as we scroll in, we got text animations. We got the line.
Beautiful.
Hey, I wonder for the wheel, should we keep it spinning? Oh no, we don't have the full 360 image of it, right?
No, I do have the full piece, but I haven't cut it out in the right way, so we will have to just move in a certain way.
So it'll just be a page.
Yeah,
scroll
it
trigger.
will have to stay like this, unfortunately, at the moment. Let's have a little look at this.
This is looking so freaking sweet.
Yes. Okay. Wait. How do you? Oh shit. How do you do the counter that?
Yeah.
He has some code there.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay, wait. You don't use encode and then you're able to do that shit? Like how? Got
What's
it.
the source of that code? I missed that. I was probably eating. Some jQuery. Okay.
Great. Yeah, it's just waypoints and counter up. It's just a JavaScript.
Cool.
And then there's a bit of code here that basically, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, look, this is what we've got.
Beautiful.
There is a little bit of a responsive thing here, but it's not major. I can get away with that. What we might want to do. So how do we solve this ticker tape kind of? See how it moves position on different sizes. See how it's closer to the wheel. On this one, it's slightly further away. Now that could just be do with a unit. So if we go to this, we've done rem. So let's do viewpoint height, and let's see. Oh, there. 35. The wheel actually moves in from the animation above. So again, look, that's why you see what I said about earlier about other elements animate. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you're not going to see that animation, but that's what I was talking about. And also, there is other reasons why you wouldn't want other elements to animate. And when we do a Google Lighthouse report, there's a thing called translate shift or something. So let's look what I'm cumulative shift or something. Let's just quickly do a Google Lighthouse report on this. I don't know. There might be some impact because we're on a screen share, and I know that kind of screws it up sometimes. So hopefully it will be all good. Let's just wait. There you go. So we've got 98, 93, 100, 90.
That's wild.
Cumulative layout shift. Now, this is what the browser is calculating all of the elements that it has to shift before it loads. Now, it could be that if you've got all of these other elements lower down the page that are animating, that on that load, it's got to load that. And that could start to de-rank your score here. So that's why it's important that you really only animate the elements that you need, and then anything above, doesn't fall into that bracket. Let's see how our text is now responding since we've used viewpoint width. Yeah, that's responding a lot better on that screen. I'm going to bring up on this screen. It's responding good on this screen. It's in the same kind of position. So viewpoint width has enabled this text to be a little bit more. See how it's a bit more responsive in the way that it moves.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's important, like I said, when you're doing it, to check.
Oh, damn, Josh, dropping the beats. That's one of my favorite songs ever.
This is your
some other
playlist.
Issues here that we would have to solve at a later point. And that is that. Do we do one more section?
I know you're hungry. What does the audience want?
I mean, I'm folding clothes, so I'm just watching, folding. So up to him.
Yeah, up to you, Joseph, whatever you feel.
It's been an hour and a half, right?
Well, we can also, if you want, we can
too.
also, like, when you're building, you can record it, and then we can just put it together and publish it on Monday.
Yeah, we could do that, or we can always do another session.
Part 2.
Or we can do a part 2, yes.
Yeah.
If you're available next Friday, we could do part 2 because we don't have anything on the schedule for next Friday.
We could do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this section is going to be pretty easy. This section here is going to be a little bit more tricky because we're going to have to input some code, and I do actually think I'm going to change that. That was one change that I feel like is needed, where these texts are just a little bit too intrusive.
Yeah, I
feel
actually like
already
that.
looks so much better, just that one change.
Idea is you were just selecting each one of those with your mouse. It gave almost like a hover effect. So what if just as a interaction next week,
Oh,
as your
shit,
mouse moves
yeah.
over those, just a
as you
slight
go
change in
through them.
opacity, you know?
Yeah, or as you scroll, they change. They go light,
That
dark,
too,
light, dark,
yeah.
light, dark.
Yeah.
Nice idea. Love that. Love that. Well, I think, yeah, we've been on this nearly 2 hours. I think I'm gonna wrap.
Yeah, okay. So guys, let's do part 2 next week.